It was a Tuesday night in March 2023. I was sitting on the floor of my apartment, not a couch, the floor, eating instant ramen, staring at a number on my phone screen. $14,211. That was my debt. Credit cards, a personal loan, a medical bill I had been ignoring for 8 months. And I just started laughing. Not because it was funny, because I had just made a decision that everyone in my life thought was insane. I had decided to live like a broke college student again. No subscriptions, no eating out, no Amazon impulse buys at midnight. I gave myself a $180 monthly grocery budget, a $40 fun budget, and zero tolerance for excuses. In 11 months, starting from that Tuesday night on the floor, I cleared every single dollar of that debt. This is exactly what happened. Let me back up so you understand how I got here, because this story only makes sense if you feel the full weight of it. I was 29 years old. I had a real job, not a dream job, but a real one. I was making $52,000 a year as a project coordinator in Atlanta. By every standard definition, I should have been fine, but I wasn't fine. I was doing what I call lifestyle inflation on a budget income. I was spending like someone who made $80,000 because I kept telling myself I deserved things. A $15 monthly meditation app I opened twice. A $220 monthly car insurance payment I never shopped around on. A gym membership I used as a very expensive coat rack. I had $900 a month in subscriptions, dining, and random spending that I could not account for. And $14,000 in debt quietly growing behind the scenes while I pretended everything was okay. Sound familiar? Because here is the thing about debt shame. You don't talk about it. You just carry it everywhere you go like a weight nobody can see but you feel every single morning when you wake up. The moment everything cracked open was February 14th, 2023, Valentine's Day. I took myself out to dinner, alone, which honestly felt like a power move at the time, and I spent $67 on a pasta dish and a glass of wine. And when I got home and opened my banking app, I had $38 in my checking account. $38, 4 days before payday. I had $38 and $14,000 in debt, and I was sitting there with marinara sauce on my shirt feeling sorry for myself. And I remember thinking, who taught me how to do this? Because whoever it was, they failed me. And then a harder thought hit. What if nobody failed me? What if I just never actually tried? I had read every budget article. I had downloaded every finance app. I had watched hours of YouTube videos about money. But I had never actually committed to something painful. I had never made it uncomfortable. And that night, I asked myself a question that changed everything. What would I do if I had no choice? What would I do if I had no choice? That question sent me back to the one time in my life I had no choice. College, junior year. I was living off $900 a month from a part-time job and financial aid. And somehow, I survived. I ate, I had fun, I was not miserable. So I pulled out a notebook, actual paper, pen, and I wrote down every single thing a broke 21-year-old version of me would not pay for. And the list was brutal. No Spotify, use the free version with ads, no DoorDash, cook everything, no gym membership, run outside or do nothing. By month 2, something weird started happening. I stopped feeling deprived and started feeling powerful, because here is what nobody tells you about having less. When your budget is tight, every decision is sharp. There is no gray area. There is no, I'll figure it out later. You either have the money or you don't. And that clarity, it is addictive. In April, I threw $1,100 at my highest interest credit card in a single payment. I had never done that in my life. I had always made minimums, told myself I'd pay more next month, and then next month came and I'd already spent it on something I cannot even remember now. But that April payment, I remember that one. I screenshotted the balance going from $3,400 down to $2,300, and I stared at it for probably 5 full minutes. This was the first time money had ever moved in a direction that felt like progress, and that feeling, that specific feeling of watching debt drop, became my new addiction. I didn't want the pasta place on the corner anymore. I wanted that number to go down. By month 5, I had paid off 2 of my 4 debts completely. The medical bill was gone. 1 credit card was gone, and I had developed what I can only describe as a debt payoff obsession that was healthier than anything I had ever been obsessed with before. But here is the real revelation. And this is the part I want you to actually write down if you are watching this. The college budget didn't work because it was restrictive. It worked because it was honest. When you have $180 for groceries and that is it, you plan. You think ahead. You buy what you actually need. You stop sleepwalking through your spending. Most of us are not broke because we don't make enough money. We are broke because we are not paying attention. We are running on autopilot while subscriptions drain us and convenience charges pile up, and we tell ourselves we deserve comfort while our debt balance quietly grows. The broke college kid budget forced me to pay attention, and paying attention changed everything. Around month 7, I started tracking my total debt balance weekly using Credit Karma. It is completely free, and seeing that number update in real time, watching it fall like a countdown clock, made me feel like I was in a race I was actually winning. That visual feedback kept me locked in when I wanted to quit. Here is what I need you to hear right now, wherever you are watching this. Your debt is not a math problem. It is a behavior problem. And I say that with full compassion because I lived it. You can know every debt payoff strategy, avalanche method, snowball method, balance transfers, and still make zero progress if you are not willing to get uncomfortable. The college budget works because it strips away every excuse. It removes the lifestyle inflation. It removes the "I deserve this" justification. It puts you face to face with your actual numbers and asks you what you are really willing to do. And the beautiful, terrifying truth is, most people never find out what they are actually capable of. They never make it uncomfortable enough to discover that they could have been debt-free 2 years ago. You might be one decision away from a completely different financial life. Not one salary raise, not one lottery ticket. One decision to stop spending like you are fine when you are not fine. So here is exactly how to try this yourself. Step 1. Write down every single recurring charge leaving your bank account this month. Every subscription, every membership, every auto pay. Most people find between $200 and $600 they forgot they were spending. Cancel anything that is not essential survival. Step 2. Set 3 budget categories only. Groceries at $150 to $200 depending on your household size, transportation at what you actually need, and a small $30 to $50 buffer for human moments. Everything else redirects to your highest interest debt first. Step 3. Find your visual tracker. I used Credit Karma because it is free and it pulls your debt balances automatically so you can watch the number drop without doing manual math every week. That real-time feedback is not optional. It is what keeps you going when the motivation fades. Step 4. Give it 90 days before you decide if it is working. Not 30, not 21, 90 days. Because the first month is adjustment, the second month is momentum, and the third month is when you start to believe this is actually real. You do not need a perfect plan. You need a painful enough budget and enough consistency to let math do its job. In 11 months, starting from a floor in Atlanta with a bowl of ramen and $38 in my bank account, I went from $14,211 in debt to zero. Not because I got a raise, not because I had some secret income stream, because I finally got honest about my spending and uncomfortable with my comfort. I budgeted like I had nothing, and it turned out I had everything I needed to get out. If this hits something real for you today, share it with someone who is carrying that same invisible weight. They might not say they need it, but they do. And if you want to start tracking your own debt drop in real time, Credit Karma is free. Link is in the description. Subscribe if you want more of this because we are just getting started. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing constitutes professional advice of any kind.